What's up guys, it's Will back again without a beanie obviously, and today's review is Get Out. So sorry once again for this review being late, but that's because of my Oscar predictions video that took an insane amount of time and work to complete. If you want to talk about that Oscar ceremony though, drop a comment below and we can have a conversation about it because that ending was, whew. But in the meantime, Get Out is a horror mystery comedy film that was written and directed by none other than Jordan Peele from Key & Peele and primarily accounts the trip of a couple that decides to head to the girlfriend's parents' house for the weekend. The boyfriend Chris, played by Daniel Kaluuya, and his girlfriend Rose, played by Allison Williams, eventually arrive at Rose's parents' house, and something just seems pretty unusual with the entire situation. As Chris learns more and more about Rose's family, he gets more uncomfortable with the whole situation, and the rest of the film is spent watching Chris uncover the mystery of the Armitage family while he simply attempts to survive the weekend and make it back home to the city with his loving girlfriend. Okay, so I actually went in to Get Out with some reasonably high expectations, not because it has a 99% currently on Rotten Tomatoes, but because I saw the trailer a bunch of times before movies I saw in theaters and I thought it looked really awesome. And it actually is pretty awesome, I gotta say. 99% good, not quite that good, but still really good and way better than a lot of horror thriller style films that have come out over the last several years. Here's one clarification I want to make though. This isn't really a horror film to me. It's more a thriller mystery style film with some comedy mixed in. There's not really a lot of actual horror that takes place here. It's not that scary is what I'm saying. It's more tense and suspenseful than anything else, which totally worked for basically everyone it seems, including myself, but I don't want pure horror fans to go into this one and be disappointed with the lack of horror you get from it. But with that said, this is one extremely tense film from basically start to finish. As the mystery becomes clear and the bad guys slowly start to reveal themselves, the tension gets cranked all the way up to 10. And this is one hell of a thrill ride, especially in the final act, which is extremely well executed. I think had this film come out in 2016, it would have been the best quote-unquote horror film easy. There's some really well-timed jump scares that actually feel like they serve a legitimate purpose. I think horror films nowadays tend to fall back on the jump scare way too frequently, but Get Out only uses a couple and they all catch you completely by surprise and are actually effective. It doesn't overdo it, it doesn't feel forced, it just works because it's executed at just the right moments. I also gotta give kudos to the entire cast really, but there were three actors that impressed me the most, and those were Daniel Kaluuya as Chris, Allison Williams as Rose, and Lil Rel Howrey in the role of Rod. They were all really great for entirely different reasons. The only other time I've ever seen Daniel Kaluuya was in Sicario, which he's very good in, albeit in a very minor role, but in Get Out he really impressed me with his versatility and charisma as a leading actor. Allison Williams was also really great as well, because her character Rose doesn't really want to be at her parents' house any more than Chris does. She gets fed up with her parents' poor communication skills fairly often, and she's great. And finally, Lil Rel Howrey. This dude is absolutely hilarious, and he pretty much single-handedly delivers some really awesome comedy to this film. None of the other characters really do or say anything all that funny. Basically everything about and everyone in this story is thriller mystery except Rod. Rod is funny every single time he appears on screen, and it's a pretty great change of pace actually. He was fantastic. Here's something else really cool about Get Out. The cinematography and the entire visual experience as a whole is pretty unique, I'd say. There are a lot of very trippy elements, for lack of a better word, and it really is pretty cool. It's beautifully shot, and the CGI is actually very impressive. I think part of what's so great about Get Out is that it has a very strong and clear identity, and a lot of that identity is relayed through the great visuals. And the last thing I loved was the social commentary. I think this is a very smart film that had a very clear idea of what it wanted to say and how it wanted to say it. There's a lot of little subtleties going on here that mostly satirize social issues in a way that doesn't feel overly forceful. I think some moviegoers might have liked to pass on this film because I think it has political or social motivations, but it never feels that way at all. It's mostly a satirical and thrilling ride. Okay, so there was really only one thing that I didn't quite love about Get Out, and that's how predictable it is. This is a very straightforward movie, very much a what you see is what you get kind of film, and I think it largely worked despite this, but I think the fact that Get Out takes very few sharp left turns, so to speak, especially in the first two acts, was just slightly disappointing for me. If you've seen the trailer for this film, then you pretty much already know how the whole movie plays out. I think the trailer in this specific case showed too much, and because of that, there's not many surprises to be found here. But overall, I still really enjoyed Get Out, and it definitely lived up to my expectations. I thought it had a very tense and mysterious story, some really nice mixing of comedy, a very unique and immersive visual experience, and some really good acting from the entire cast. The only knock I have on this film is its predictability, which is a slight detractor for me. I'm still going to give Get Out a 9 out of 10 and recommend you go see this one in theaters if you're looking for a very thrilling and unique movie-going movie-going experience. So did you guys see Get Out yet? What did you think of it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if not, let me know whether you'd be interested in watching this film or not. And as always, if you like this video, click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for much more content like this. That's all for now though. This is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.